If you're an artist, at some point, you're probably going to want to try to paint a sunset or a sunrise. Now, I've had a very successful career as a professional artist painting the sun. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 keys that you really have to nail if you want to convey that real light of the sun. Because here's the thing, I see a lot of attempts at sunsets where it just, yeah, it looks like the artist was going for a sunset, but there's a huge difference between that and between creating a painting where it seems that the light is actually emanating out of the painting. And I get that comment all the time from people that it looks like the light's shining out of the painting, and they're always asking me how I'm able to achieve that. So in this video, I'm going to give you 4 keys that if you get these right, you're going to be at least on your way to creating that really intense glow of the sun. Now, I've done a little demo that I'm going to go to now to show you, to demonstrate these different aspects. So one of the ways that I convey that glow of the sun is I start on a red canvas. And what that does is that allows that red to kind of sparkle through the entire painting. And in particular, when I paint foliage or the shoreline, and then I paint the negative shapes indicating the sky, there's a little gap between those strokes, and that red shows through, and that creates a halo effect which mimics actually what happens in nature when something is backlit. Now, the other thing that is really key is the sun, the area where you're putting the sun. It has to be the lightest light in your painting. And it should be the only place in your painting where we see the pure white. And it just makes sense, right? If you're staring at the sun, there's nothing else that's going to be brighter than that. So again, it has to be the brightest area, and you can't have anywhere else where it's that bright. Now, another concept that you need to understand is something called diffraction. And that's the way that light sort of overwhelms things. So, for example, if you were to hold up a thread in front of a bright light, where that thread crosses in front of the light, it would disappear because the light kind of eats it. Well, the sun does that in our landscapes. So whether it's at the edge of a shore or whether it's behind a screen of branches, the sun kind of eats right through the stuff that's in front of it. And then there's a subtle gradation that moves away from the edge of that object that starts at usually a very light yellow and goes through orange, red, magenta, violet, and then finally into blue. And then the fourth thing that you really need to understand is the other type of reflected light that is hitting objects. So obviously, anything that's facing towards the sun is going to get that warm light of the sun on it. But you have to remember the sky is also a light source. And even though the sun way over there is very warm, the sky above us at sunrise or sunset is usually very cool or blue. So it's like a blue fluorescent light that's shining on everything. So anything that's turning away from the sun, it's going to get that blue influence on it, whether it's rocks, whether it's a distant shore, or whether it's trees. So if you're trying to paint the sun, this is what I really recommend. Paint on a red background. Make sure the sun is the brightest thing in your painting. Make sure you show diffraction happening, that kind of that the way that the sun kind of eats into things and then it gradates away from the warm to the cool. And then make sure all the other objects in your painting are obeying the laws of light so that when they're facing towards the sun, they get the warm light. And when they're facing away from the sun or up to the sky, they get the blue light. Now, if you want to learn more about how I paint the sun, I've just released a new bundle of 5 separate painting tutorials where I start with these concepts very simple and we get a little bit more complex with each different painting till right at the end, we're doing a pretty complex sunset with looking through the distant shore, through a screen of trees with reflections on the water. Now, this bundle of courses is worth $500 if I was to charge regular price. But for this weekend only, I'm offering the entire course for $49. And you also get a bunch of bonus stuff in there as well, including one free Zoom call with me where I'll critique your paintings or answer any questions that you have. So again, if you want to learn more about how I paint the sun and you want to follow along with me on 5 different paintings, then you can just click the link in the description and that'll allow you to get this entire bundle at a huge discount. If you're watching this before December 7th, 2025, you can get the amazing launch price of just $49. But if you're watching this after that, you're still going to be able to get it at an incredible discount. Just click on the link in the description and you can learn more about everything that comes along with this course.